Jones wearing that jacket very proudly.
Yep.
Curious. So you look at the way you guys, execution-wise, at the end, Coach was saying like to finish the game a little cleaner. You guys were up 13, maybe they got it down to 7. Just maybe your assessment of how the game could be finished better by you guys.
I say just keep playing. You know, when teams are in desperation mode like that, you know, usually a stop or two from, you know, putting the dagger in and closing them out. But, you know, they're playing free at that point. They're playing fast, and, you know, they're shooting with confidence because you really have nothing to lose. So, you know, you still got to be locked in.
Curious with you, obviously, you said you wanted to put a string of games together. This would be another one, 50% from 3, 28. Maybe what you're finding rhythm-wise or flow-wise, Coach seemed to think that the break helped you as far as getting your body back right.
I mean, my body's felt good. You know, it's just, like I said, just keep shooting. You know, make the shots, trust the work, and just find the flow. Make sure our spacing's right, making sure getting good looks, and defending. You know, when we defend at a higher level, I think we get easier shots in transition, easier shots for everybody.
Look, you've talked a lot about how you know Tyus is a scoring and a shooting threat, but does it feel like he's gotten progressively more comfortable as far as, you know, picking and choosing his spots when to be aggressive?
Man, he mastered that in like 6th grade. I keep telling y'all that. So, you know, I watch him be super punctual since then. You know, he's always had a pace in the field, and his scoring's always been underrated. You know, so I'm glad he's on our side.
What did you guys do in the fourth there to kind of create some separation? It felt like Nurk gave you a good stretch there as well.
Yeah, defending, you know, having somebody at the rim contesting shots, a few block shots. Nurk was setting unbelievable screens tonight. So, you know, everything starts on the defense end. You know, if we can be on a string on that side of the ball, I think everything else will figure itself out.
With Royce and Tyus, their numbers from 3 are ridiculous this month. How much of that do you think for a player can come down to the spacing and kind of figuring out their spots, where to space?
Yeah, they understand that, you know, teams are going to load up on me, Kev, and Brad, and, you know, they're making them pay for it. So, you know, that's what we work on every day in practice. We talk about that spacing. You know, sometimes somebody has to make a sacrificial cut that, you know, draws the defense in, that opens up the backside, and that's something we're trying to figure out, especially when we have 4 or 5 threats on the court, like who's going to be the one to cut. But once we figure that out, you know, it usually draws attention and opens something up.
With Brad, you've had years like that yourself where it's just these random things keep popping up in random circumstances. Just how do you, as a player, stay composed through that, and how much is he staying engaged through these things he's been dealing with?
Yeah, he's working. You know, you just see him doing conditioning today, so, you know, you just got to stay on it. You know, he's a professional. He's been in it a long time, and, you know, it's a long season, so, you know, you just have to take care of your body and, you know, get the treatment that you need, get the work that you need, and, you know, he's checking those boxes.
Thanks, both.
Yeah.
Kevin, just looking at you know, obviously a second straight win, and just curious where you feel like the guys are right now as far as after a couple wins in a row.
Yeah, we're playing. We're in a good groove. It's always good to have it be close to being full strength. We're just missing Brad now, but I think everybody's obviously excited about winning games. So we want to keep this momentum.
You're playing a young team like Portland, obviously down at the end there, you're up 13, and they're still. They're not take that through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a young team who want to fight to the end and to the buzzer sound, and you respect that. I think they just threw a lot of junk in the game, all game, zoning, switching everything, playing foul smalls, pressing. They was trying everything to try to slow us down, and I respect that, especially from young teams just trying to get wins. But I love that how we kind of just weathered all of those storms and had a counter punch for all of those little jabs they threw at us. So we're gonna need to continue to battle through stuff like that, because teams are gonna try to throw us off our rhythm as far as switching defenses, going small, trying to take players out the game. You know, so they got to be a little bit more creative when they play against us, and that's a sign of respect.
There was a stretch where I think you got some high screen and roll to get to the basket. Then Devin came in,
similar thing, high screen and roll. How much is that allowing you guys to be creative, but then having the spacing necessary off of that?
Yeah, I mean, teams are going to play in a drop on us. We got to take advantage of it. A lot of teams don't usually play that way against us. It's usually up to the touch on the screen, trap, trying to get the ball out of our hands. So I think we generated some good shots tonight going downhill, shooting those middies over top of the big. But for the most part, I think defensively we were in solid shape, and was able to get out in transition, get some easy stuff as well. So it was one of those games you just got to grind through, and I think we kind of had control all the way through the game.
With Tyus, he's talked about having to navigate that balance between being the point guard and being aggressive to score. Does it feel like he's gotten a lot more comfortable with kind of picking when to be aggressive?
Yeah, I think Tyus has understood that. It's a positionless team almost. It's possessions where he's going to bring the ball up and be the point guard. There's possessions where Booker bring it up and he's a scorer now. He got to play off the ball and look to be aggressive to score. And it's times when I'm bringing the ball up, Brad bringing the ball up, Royce. So I think we all got to be ready to do different things out there, and Tyus has understood. We want you to be a point guard, set up the guys, but we also need you to be aggressive downhill as well, and it's been a great balance thus far.
Kevin, this has been Nurk's best rebounding season, like on a per-minute basis in his whole career. So I'm just curious, of the last few years, I should say, in Phoenix, his impact. Like, what can you say just about what he does on the boards?
Yeah, I mean, we're a relatively small team, and we're gonna need him to be that bruiser down low, and that's what his job has been for us the last 2 years. Last year, having a 30 rebound game, a couple 15-plus rebound games, so. We need that from him. I think since he came back from injury, he's been great thus far. Last game, this game, I think he's been playing his role to a T, doing everything we need him to do. So I'm excited about what he could do going forward.
I'm just kind of curious. What do you see out of Donovan Clingan out there as a defensively playing a lot of drop?
Yeah, he's tall. He's tall. that's a huge young player. 7'2", 7'3". He's even trying to extend his range out to the three-point line, feeling comfortable just taking those shots. I mean, it's going to be games, obviously, where you're not going to make some of them, but just to have the confidence to shoot those. But his length is tough to shoot over him. I felt like I came down to paint one time. It was just me and him, and I'm like, it's an easy pull-up. He just put his hand up. He didn't even jump, and it was still tough to see the rim. So they got a good one over there with him, and it's all about development, and I know he'll put the work in to get better.
Tyus, when you look at that fourth quarter, what do you feel like you guys were able to do to pull away, and then where do you feel like you can clean some things up, especially in that last minute or two?
Yeah, I think just giving a little more resistance defensively down the stretch. Couple breakdowns, and then I think offensively just trying to get to exploiting some mismatches, trying to create some advantages, trying to kind of manipulate some of the matchups, and guys make some shots.
And with Nurk, he gave you guys a good stretch in that fourth after kind of a rougher stretch in that first half. Coach was saying he kind of steadied himself. What did you see from him down the stretch there?
Yeah, just sticking with it, being extremely active on the defensive end of the floor, and then just continue to set good screens, freeing myself, Kev, Book up. And then we were able to find him a couple times on some pocket passes, late drop-offs. And so, yeah, just kind of regrouping, staying with it, understanding it's a long game. Now we're going to keep going back to him.
Tyus, for you and getting opportunities to score, how much of that has come down to recent, not understanding, but just the in-depth knowledge you have now of the spacing and where you guys want to be on the floor?
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. I think I said it a little earlier this year, it's just going to be a work in progress and just continuing to try to understand the system and the offense and guys' tendencies where, guys like to be on the court, understanding where my shots and spots are going to, come from in the flow of the offense. And so I think it's just I'm continuing to get familiar with that, like you said, and just knowing where my shots are going to come from.
Looking at your numbers, it was your third year in Memphis where your scoring started to go up a bit. Was there some specific mindset change? Was it role? What really led to the numbers going up there?
That third year, it was in the off season talking with Taylor, Jenkins, about just being a little bit more aggressive, to shooting the ball, especially from the 3-point line. And so that's been something, they've been on me about here as well. obviously everyone knows Bud's system. He wants us to get up threes, but also with the gravity that Katie, Book, Brad, that they create. Everyone else is getting open looks, so just being ready to fire them and knock them down.
Tyus, obviously, when you start the game aggressive, they seem to be what's happened the last couple games. Are you making more of a point of emphasis to do that, or is it still just trying to find it in the flow?
It's just, honestly, it's finding it in the flow. Trying to just not pass up shots. If shots are there, just taking them, not hesitating, making my reads. Whatever the defense is giving me. In the last couple games, it's been some early looks and just getting in a rhythm early on, and that's been helping me. But I'm not coming in saying I'm going to shoot X amount of times tonight or anything like that. I'm just taking what the defense gives me, looking to try to be a playmaker, and that's scoring or creating for others. So just taking my shots with confidence.
I don't know if you knew that Chauncey Billups was a huge fan.
That's my guy.
But
That's my guy.
He spoke highly of you pregame, saying that you have the humility to play point guard and then understanding who your teammates are. When did that start for you, understanding, okay, I could do a lot of things here, but I understand who I have on my team and I need to play a different kind of way, or the way you're playing now?
First off, that's a huge compliment to myself. Was a huge fan of Chauncey growing up. Still a big fan of his to this day. One of the guys I watched a lot growing up, just how he played the game, set the table, made big shots in his career, could do everything on the court. His demeanor is something that, I try to emulate. So that's, I don't take that lightly, him speaking highly of me. That's a huge honor. And then, I think just, going back to your question, it's just how I've always kind of played, just trying to set the table, trying to understand the offensive system, trying to understand the time to score. There's so much that goes into being a point guard, especially at this level. It's not for the weak, but it's the best job in the world, and I don't take it for granted. I don't take it lightly. I continue to work on my craft, physically, mentally, and having the guys we have on this team, having the coaching staff we have, they give me the confidence to continue to be myself. And to kind of just, give me the green light to make plays, make calls on the fly, whatever I see, just use my instincts. So I'm enjoying it.
Tyus, you're just such a consistent force for this Suns team. What does that mental approach look like for you? I mean, coming in, doing your job, not getting too high, not getting too low. Yeah,
as a point guard, just being a leader out there, trying to stay steady throughout the game, throughout the season. It's a full 48-minute games. It's there's a lot that goes on. There's ups and downs. It's game of runs, but that's the season as well. There's highs and lows of the season. So as a guy who's kind of out up front, the team's gonna kind of go how you go. So just want to kind of set the tone of always being even keel and just never getting rattled. Trying to just stay steady, trying to show up, do my job each and every night. And hopefully that, kind of rubs off on the rest of the guys.
We all silly like the mayor.